Hi, you beautiful people. It's early in the morning. Oh, not time for milking yet, so it's a good time because I'm always, I feel like making videos in the morning. And I was just asked by one of you to talk about child estrangement or not seeing your children. So I'll do a video about this now. And my situation is that there's 2 of our 4 children who don't want any contact and who think that that the situation is they believe I should have some therapy because I really need help because I've got real big problems, and they believe that if I do that they will start to like me and we will get together again or something like that. And it's been going on for a long time, and I don't want to get too personal about this for their sake, but in situations sometimes as I experience that they're in a lot of pain themselves, and it's just really hard. I mean, and as I said, just wrote that I can cry about this daily because it's just so painful. And the worst thing is that when they are in pain, that's the worst for me. It's not that I don't see them. That's very painful in itself. So it is just really hard. So just to say that I'm not, it's not like I'm over this, or how can you say this, that I don't care, because I do care. It's very painful. I just have to check my fire. So I just also want to say a thing about faith and about religion, that I just I feel Christ is very important for me, and I'm a believer, as you know, who have seen my videos, but I just do not believe that because you have a particular religion or you believe in a certain way, you are more blessed. I just don't believe that. We're all God's children. Our Father, Mother God loves us and is really who we are deep inside. We are God in physical form. So we've talked about this many times before. So what do I mean? For me, it's very painful, and to just extend into the wider picture of my life. I mean, my marriage fell apart this year after 30 years almost. We've been together for 30 years. It fell apart. We're living in the same house, and we're living separately in the same house, and have very little to do with each other. It's, I mean, it's mad. It seems, and I've had a relationship. I mean, I think there's been deep pain in my life ever since I was little, and I've just experienced a lot of pain, emotional pain. I mean, has just been really huge in my life, and knowing people who were healthy emotionally, it has just not been very normal for me. So it's just been, I feel I can just sit down daily and cry about how difficult my life has been, because I really feel it's been so difficult. So as you can see, just talking about it, it's painful. Life is bloody painful. But this is really what it's all about. That's the thing. Because my life became so mad, I mean, everything just more or less fell apart, and that's what many people are experiencing. But some people, they still have a marriage and intact, and I mean, mine is just more or less completely fallen apart, relationship-wise, although I do have actually a warm and authentic and loving relationship with 2 of our children, which is very, 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 very beautiful and very wonderful, of course. If all my children were estranged, it would just, I don't think I would be here. I think it would just be so bad. So, but all in all, when things get so bad, you just have to let go. You have to let go. Otherwise, you just die. That's what I felt. If I don't let go and let these people be where they are and concentrate on being well myself, I will physically die. I will not be able to cope. So that's where I got to, and I'm still there, knowing that if I don't take care of myself deeply, lovingly, every day, I can't be here. So it's taken me all the way to the realization that it's so important that I care for myself. And it's not because I'm a selfish person and I don't care about these people, it's because otherwise I can't be on earth. And I chose to come here to be here because I have a job to do. And it's all about love. It's all about bringing the love of God as I feel it. That's the only reason why we're here. And it's it's a huge gift we've been given to be on earth. To be able to bring God's love to earth. I think that's why we're all here. There's no other reason. So I have to fight for my own survival. That's really where I am. And I was just listening to a spiritual guidance yesterday, and that's actually what the time of the earth is right now, is actually everybody has to survive, and not just survive, but actually blossom where they are. And it's very, very difficult right now because the energies on earth are very, very intense. So what I feel about the whole thing of having this with our children, who there's just been so much pain all over the place. It's teaching me to surrender. Surrender to life. Surrender to what is. And not push anything away or pretend something's not like this or that. And very much this journey with these channels about that I've been able to talk about this has been a huge gift for me, and I feel also it's one of my jobs here on earth to talk about this, to say I have problems, not to get your pity, but to just say that life is difficult. Life is there's no quick fix, and there are some of us who are living in very, very difficult emotional conditions, and that I'm one of them. And it's very, actually, some people don't like it, and they just don't like to listen to it or whatever. But I just think it's very, very wonderful to be able to share this honesty, to say this is the way it is. It's difficult, and it's painful. And just share with you how I manage. And if this can help you, it's wonderful. And maybe you can't use it, and that's fine too. Because there are just, of course, thousands of different tools you can use. And some people can become very deeply Christian and use that tool. And there's just no tool that's no better than others. So, but the tool for me, or the definitely all this pain in my relationships in my life, and also my whole health thing, which also just broke down my health completely, and all this forced me to search for God. And as I've said before, without him or her, without God, I would not be here for sure. So it forced me to become a believer and to have a relationship to God. And on many spiritual paths, there's different ones, but there's not a relationship to God. I need this. This is very important for me. So knowing that God loves me and God sees me, there's a presence there that is not just a presence, but it's just the power of all powers. The love of all love is there, always shining his light on me. I had to come to that place, and daily I'm forced to stay in this. Well, he's showering his love over me, and I have to stay in the shower. I have to stay under the shower all the time, and every day, some days more than others. I mean, I'm so super sensitive, so that we've just had some wind for 2 days. It's been very, very windy, and I just got myself exhausted feeding the animals, and I felt I was falling apart and was just crying out of exhaustion. And partly because it was windy. I'm just very, very sensitive, and I'm just forced to keep coming back into my center. And I think this is just a very general thing, and some people are more sensitive than others, but we're all, that's what I feel, with all the problems that we're experiencing, we're all learning, if we wish, to focus and to center ourselves into our hearts. And it's all about becoming the love beings that we are, to open our hearts. That's the future. If you want to wish to live in this world many years to come, you have to open your heart. So it's really God saying in a very popular way, get your act together. And you can't and you mustn't cling to anyone. Your dog, your cat, your child, your husband, whatever. Actually, you can cling to God. That's all you're allowed to cling to. But even that, you have to cling to the earth too, because otherwise you're just gonna. You have to connect to the earth, and that's one of the very healing things. That when you're very upset, to do something physical, go into nature, because the earth, with her love, will help you root yourself. Because when you're not rooted, you're just not well, physically or mentally or emotionally. So it's connecting to the earth and connecting to God. That's what this is all about. So, yes, being in a woman, this 54-year-old woman on the earth right now, with the experiences I've had, there's deep sadness, yes. And one of the tools is let the sadness be there. And that's the whole thing of surrendering. So the first step is to really focus yourself, just get yourself together in your center and breathe deeply and say, here I am. Here's pain, here's a mess, here's a mess. And I'm in the middle, I'm on this big pile of mess, or there's mess all around, or difficult things I can't work out. And I center myself and I feel the peace in this moment. That's probably the 99% of the whole thing. That's what we're being taught. And as I'm here, I have a mind and I have emotions. I can go into thinking about one of my children and just cry. And so I let the tears come. Let the pain be there. And the pain is a cleanser, and the pain deepens us. So it's very important, and the whole thing of the inner child, to allow my inner child to cry, because she's upset now. She wants to cry. Let her cry. Very, very important, because our emotional being is because of all this pain, we're connecting to our sadness. And I really do believe that before our children were estranged, we had that sadness already. And the estrangement is bringing, like a boil, whatever, bringing to the surface the sadness we were already holding on to. So in a way, they're helping us. They are. The children are helping us, and it's so strange, but the pain that they're causing is helping us to realize how much pain we were actually holding on to before we actually even had them. So they're helping us. The situation is helping us to connect deeply with who we are. And when we connect with ourselves, get to know ourselves, to love ourselves, to say, oh, okay, this is how I feel. I feel very sad. My inner child feels very sad. And to love that. So that's what I keep reminding myself every time I think, oh my God, where is this child? Is she alive? Is she dead? Is she happy? What can I do? I can't do anything. Maybe I'll never see her. All these thoughts go through my mind, more or less daily. And to say it's okay. And to not get caught by it. Just allow it to, it's like a wave that comes over you, and just let it be there. So I can say that there's things that actually are a relief, and that is that when I don't have these children close to me, I don't have all their negativity, all their blaming, all their anger. It's actually a very huge relief at the same time, because it's unbearable to have someone shooting at you all the time and being deeply unhappy at the same time is just hell. So that is a big relief. And also I feel I've gotten over the blaming, the self-blaming. Why weren't you a better mother? What did you do wrong? All that is over now, because it's just so exhausting. And I just know deep down I've been a good mother. I've done lots of things I could have done better, but I just know, and I believe all mothers are. Because our children, it's all, I mean, they choose us, and it's all because we are the ones who can teach them the most. And sometimes it's very painful things that we put them through, and it's all meant to be. So yeah, so that's where I am. And yeah, so very much allowing the sadness to be there, and the not knowing, and taking myself through that. Let this waves come over you, and come back to the center where I say, it's okay, God, because God says, do you still love me? Do you still trust me that all is well? And I do. You sort of go like this, and you come back to, oh, that's right, all is well, all is fine. And another thing that helps me is to know, which I really, really do feel is true, is that the children who have estranged themselves, they are actually in a very deep healing process themselves, and they are going through the same as we are on their own way, and really what it's all about is cleansing away all their pain, and to, as we are in the situation right now on earth, is to decide with themselves, do I wish to live in anger or love? Do I wish to live in blaming or love? And that's where they are. God is asking them every moment of the day, do you wish to keep blaming, or do you choose love? And it's your choice. And they might choose blaming, and that might be their future. As I met a woman who was in her 80s, and she had a child my age now, in her 50s, who hated her. She'd always hated her. And she just exploded all the time and attacked her mother. She'd always done it. You just don't know. But as I said before, I think the worst is to see your children in pain. I think that's the worst, really. It's not that they don't love you or don't show their love. Because I believe we all love each other. We all are deeply connected in our hearts in love. That's our natural state. So all that we're out in is actually quite unnatural, or a distortion of our real self. But we have to go there. And according to some, it's pain through thousands and thousands of years and thousands of generations of pain that is surfacing right now. And each person has to allow it to surface, to allow themselves to feel the pain, and to choose to stop blaming anyone. So to let go of my children and say they're going to do what they have to do, and they're going to choose as they wish to choose, and I cannot have no effect on it at all. I've done my job. I've looked after them when they were little and given them my love, and so I've done what I can do. So it's letting go, letting go, letting go. And God is saying, okay, because it is really the mind saying, my life is not as I want it to be. When you're upset about not seeing your children, you say, well, something's wrong in my life. Well, God is saying nothing's wrong. So this is helping me to learn to say, my life is perfect with all these things that don't seem to be working, seen with my heart, all these people and all these so-called, all this mess around me is a cleansing process that has to happen. And I'm right here, and my candle is lit, and I can breathe, I can feel. So I'm forced to come right into the sweetness of this moment. And as I was saying in the last video about fear, it's a decision that we make, where we say, I decide to feel and to breathe in, breathe out the sweetness of this moment. I choose that. And then God says, okay, right, you got it. That's where I want you to be. And I know with myself, the more I master this, I become my own master. I'm learning what I have to learn. The chance of me seeing my children again is huge, because I emanate peace. So you really, really wish to do something, and that's the greatest thing I can do. Which is to stay in the love of my heart, in the sweetness of this moment all the time. On Christmas Eve, whatever, today, now, when I go and feed the animals, when I go and milk the cow, to stay in the sweetness and the peace of this very moment all the time. That's what it's all about. And from here I will create love and peace and light and the most magnificent on earth. I will be a creator with God. That's where I want to go. And I wish that when and if I meet these children again, I wish to emanate deep peace and love, nothing else. No blaming. They might have hated me for 50 years, and I meet them on my deathbed, and I want to be pure peace and love. So that's my dream, and I think that's what's important. It's not that's what really happens when you really feel you suffer deeply. Is not what can I get, God? Can't you give me some more of that? Some more of that? No, it's not. It's what can I give more of? And God will always say love. Give more love. And it comes naturally when you're full of love. And that's what happens when you come into the center. Because love is right here. Love is one big pool of God's presence. And it's right here always. So the whole thing of love is all there is. That is really life. And everything, or every person who's chosen to go the path of not loving is actually not in reality. They're in an unreal place, and we can glide into that all the time. So it's to actually stay in reality, which is love, harmony, well-being, joy. It's right here. So it's so powerful, so you can really conclude by saying, thank you, child, for leaving me. Thank you for doing this to me, because you are teaching me the biggest. So you can just go down on your knees and thank them. So, yeah, so that was a little bit about where I am in my life and how difficult things are just teaching me to surrender to life and to live in the sweetness of life and to be the sweetness of life. So I hope this was something you can use, and God bless you all, and I just pray that you every day from now on, during Christmas and every day, feel the sweetness of life. every moment. So God bless you. See you, my friend.